Hi guys. So today we are going to develop a little application, and it's going to be, as you probably have seen in the file name, it's going to be a calculator. So what I want us to do here is the calculator. We are going to write a couple of functions, and those functions are going to um, do most of the job for us. So without wasting any time, let me just start. So what we are going to do is the application, we are going to make it to have like 4 different functions. So one of the functions is one that we are going to use uh, to uh, to make additions, to make divisions, and so forth. And then each of the functions is going to accept 2 arguments. So those arguments are going to be provided by the user, because we're going to use a command line interface to use it. So those arguments are going to be provided by the user, and then we are going to do the mathematics and show the results. So this little project is quite good for beginners in order to understand how functions work together. So like I said, without wasting any time, let me just start. So the first function we are going to write is going to be used to for addition. So let's call it addition. So this function, like I said, is going to accept 2 arguments. So let's say first argument and second argument. And then what we could do is to return, we use the return keyword. Let's return, uh, oh, return, oh, what am I doing? We're going to return first plus second. This is all. So we need to use the return keyword here, otherwise we are going to get none. So what we might do when we get to the stage where we're going to use the function, we could remove the return so that you are going to see the output. So in order for you to understand why this return keyword is necessary here, the next thing we are going to do, let me write the other function. So this one would be, let's say, multiplication. So let's use the same variable name for all of them to make it easier for us. So we're going to return also the same thing. The functions are going to be almost the same. Return second. The third one would be, let's call it division. And like I said, the same argument, the same variable we are going to use. And return first division. Then the last one is, what do we call it? We have addition, we have multiplication, we have division. So the next one is, maybe we could call it deduction. Is that how it's spelled? I hope so. So this one, let's say the same. Second argument. And so it's going to be return first. Oh, yeah, that's right. Second And that's all the functions we need. But we could add additional functions if we wanted to perform more actions anyway. So it's not limited to this. But like I said, this is going to be very simple calculator. And maybe if we have more time as we proceed, we could uh, do additional things with the calculator. But for now, let's leave it as simple as this. So now what we need to do is we are going to make use of the these functions. So to do that, let's ask the user for some information. And to do this, we are going to uh, accept some inputs from the user. So let's print the options that we've got. So we could say that we have this. We could ask the user to choose an option. Let's say no. What am I typing? Choose an option. Then we could ask the user to choose one of these options. The next one is that. The next one we have that. And finally, we've got this. So we ask the user to choose an option. Then uh, we create a new variable here where we are going to insert the option that the user chose. So for that, we are going to use input because these options are strings. So we are going to say choose an option from above list. We could have this. So we allow the user to choose an option. So what we've got to do now is to check what option the user chose. So in order to do that, we could use the if statement to if option. So now we are comparing what the user has chosen. So if the option the user chose is, let's say, is plus. Okay, so now we are going to ask the user to provide input, the the integer, what they are trying to add. So let's use what could we we are going to create a variable here. So let's say first uh, let's say option, not option. This should be first input. Let's say first input. So now we are trying to first input. This is should be no, should be integer because this the input is going to be integer, right? So we should have integer there. So now we can ask the user provide first input, and we ask the user also to provide second input. So in order not to waste time, let's just copy and paste. So this is going to be second input, and here we should have a second input. So now user has chosen what they want to do. So now we are going to uh, use our function to calculate whatever the user provided. So in order to do this, what we could do, let's print it out. And then we could format it as well. So we could add some comment there. For instance, we could say something like, let's say, first input, let's say plus second input is, so now we are going to call our function. Our function is addition, right? So we are going to call our function here by saying addition. Then we are going to insert the information provided by the user, which is first input and second input. Oh, and second input. So this is very important. This is not necessarily important. What we are trying to do here is we are going to show the user the information they typed in, the number they typed in. So because we have these curly braces here, so it's going to show the exact information that the user typed in. But what we are trying to do here, remember when we wrote our function up here, it requires these two arguments. So we need to provide them. So those are the two arguments. So the two arguments are going to be this information that the user provided here. So we could try this function before we proceed. We could try it. To do that, so this file name is calculator. So we could just call calculator. You see? So now choose an option. So it's showing us what option to choose from. So it says choose an option from above. So now let's say we choose plus. Then it asks us to provide the first input. The first input, let's say 20. Provide second input, we could say 20 again. So we got our output. So it says 20 plus 20 is 40. So if you remember 20, this is the first input, which is 20, and then second input, which is 20, is, then we printed out, we did our calculation using the function we wrote up there. So that's exactly what happened here. So let me just do something that is really not necessary, but just to make it look a bit nice. So let's just watch what I'm going to do now. Let's say, what do I use? No, let's say these times, you know what? To avoid confusion, let's use this instead. Times, let's say 20. So this is what so I just created this variable. So we are going to print this like 20 times. That's what this means. So we are going to use it somewhere. So let's say, let's use it here. So let's print that variable called line. That's what I called it. Also, let's call it also below line. So we call it also here. So let's see what it's going to do. So that will be that line. That's what I just called now. So let's do this again. So let's choose this again. So we provide 50 plus 10. You see? So we printed these 20 lines here. We printed these 20 lines. Like I said, it's not really necessary, but it's just to make it look a bit, to make it stand out. 50 plus 10 is 60. So that's what we wanted to have. What we need to do now is to proceed, and let's proceed and use the other functions as well. So the next one I want us to use would be this, what is it? Multiplication. So we are going to do the same thing that we just did, but we're going to use if now. if option that the user provided, we're going to check if it is if it will be that. If that's what it is, then we are going to do, like I said, the exact same thing we did here. So we are going to do the same. And the only thing we need to change here, obviously, is a plus. So let's call this multiplied. So first input multiplied by, okay, let's also add by. Second input is multiplication we are going to use here. Multiplication. So we are doing exactly the same thing we did there. So basically we are going to insert all these the user provided input. We are going to insert them there and then use our multiplication function and then provide the inputs that the user provided. Remember, it requires two arguments here. So that's why I said we are doing exactly the same thing we did earlier with the first one, with the plus one. So now what we need to do, so let's test this one out. So let's choose that. So let's say 50, the first input and second input 20. So it says that 50 multiplied by 20 is 1000. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's what it should be. So although the line is now shorter here because we have longer text here, so but it doesn't matter. So if you like, you could just increase it. So we could just increase it to 30. Oh, not 300, but 30. We could increase it to 30. And then we try it again. So we say there, we choose our option, we say 50 by 20. You see? So that's what it is. So let's proceed now and use the other functions. Higher. Uh, so what we need to do okay, before before I proceed, let me just quickly change the font here in order to have more room in the environment. So let's go setting font size, probably let's make it, I don't know, maybe 14. Let's see what it's gonna look like. Yeah, it's smaller now, but I hope it's big enough to be seen by by whoever is going to watch this video. So I hope it's big enough, but at least we have enough room now to do what we are doing. So the next thing I wanted to do, we have already used two functions. So let's proceed and use leave. Let's check the option again and see what the user provided. So the next one we have is division, and let's check it. So if the user provided that, so let's go on and copy this again. Like I said, we will keep doing the same thing. And here is divided by, we are doing exactly the same thing we did earlier. So first input divided by second input is, we change the function name, and then it will do the same. We could try it out. let's choose that, and then we provide probably 50. Second input, let's say 25. Um, something is not right. Let's see what it was. So it's like 50. Oh, no, that's it. It just, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. I was thinking we used a different function, but it's the division that we used. So that's what it is. We could round this up if we wanted anyway. We could round it up in order to be to show us to or to display to instead of to zero instead of the fraction. But we could just leave it that way. And finally, let's just quickly use the other one. If option is, I think it will be that. Let's call the last option. Let's copy this. Let's call the last function I meant to say. Uh, deduction. I don't know. I should have called it deduct instead of deduction because it should be like a verb anyway. But that's what I call the deduction. Yeah, but let it be. So divided by first input divided by second input is, let's just now quickly else, let's use the final else. If the user provided something other than what we expected them to provide, we could just print, please choose uh, uh, maybe an appropriate option. So we could just show them this. So now let's choose the last one, the one we just wrote. Now let's clear the screen and let's call it. Now let's choose, that's what we want to do. And we could provide 100. And the second of input, let's provide, let's say 30. So we've got 100 minus. This should be, this should be divided by, minus, sorry. Minus, and this should go. And then, so let's do it again. That 220. Now we have 200 minus 20 is 180. So we have used all our functions now. So we've got a very simple, oh, so what am I doing? We've got very simple calculator here that we could use to do our normal calculations. And there is something we might want to fix here. As our calculator is working very well now, but if we wanted, we could fix something, and I'll tell you what. So let's just call this again. Let's choose plus. Then it's asking us to provide, it's asking us to, let's provide our first input, let's just say 200. Second input, let's just type something other than integer. Let's say, hey, see what happened? So it crashed. Look at the error we got, value error, because we are trying to access something other than integer here. So just imagine if we had a package application, gave it to someone to use, and they mistakenly type something other than integer, so the calculator will crash. So we are going to fix this now So that's the next thing we are going to do. Uh, I don't know, due to time, we probably would fix just one of these options, probably the first one. But the concept we are going to apply here would be the same. So you could just apply it to any other option here. So we could just do one and leave the rest. We're going to use the exception to prevent this from happening. So let's first of all, let me do this. Let's try exception. And I'm going to move this one tab away. And then let's see, except let's print you must provide integers. So we are going to ask the person to So we're going to ask the person to provide an integer. So what we are just we are using the try exception in order to prevent this from happening. So let's just try this again. Let's try that one. Let's try the first one now. And let's say plus. Then let me just try anything. You see? So it did not crash. So what happened? It's asking the user to prove that integer must be provided. So at least the application did not crash this time. Instead, it tells the user what to do, right? So that's the use of this. So this exception, it you can use it in different quite different ways, but we are just going to use it in this very simple way as we are building a very simple calculator. So what we could do, like I said, you could apply the same concept. Okay, you know what? Let me just try it again. Let's use it and see what happens. So we got our error. Let's try it again. 20. So everything is still working now, right? But if we choose something else, 200, let's just type, I don't know, hey, you see? It doesn't crash anymore. So if you wish, we could just quickly just do the same thing with these other ones. So let's try, and then we'll move our code a bit, and then except we print, you know what? Just the same. Where is it? We print the same. We just print the same. And then we do the same thing here. As you can see, our calculator has actually become quite a big, it's now bigger than, it's no longer a small project, is what I'm trying to say. And let's print that. And finally, let's try and move that, except value, we print that. So all of the input, we have applied this same concept to all of them. So let's quickly try one of them before we close. Let's call our calculator again. Okay, now let's try that, something else. And then let's say 200. Then let's say uh, Python, you see? You must provide the integer before you can proceed. So that's it. So our calculator is working. I hope you enjoyed this small project, and please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comment to make or any question to ask, just feel free and type it there. And at my convenient time, I'm going to respond. But do me a favor and subscribe uh, uh, to my channel.